All right, so I have this MacBook Pro here from 2019. It's the one with the touch bar, right? And yeah, so obviously it's the here. Let me zoom in here. It's the last Intel-based MacBook Pro, so it makes sense to install Windows on it, um, because then we can run Windows natively. And it's still a very decent laptop. So this one has an i9 processor with 8 cores. Has a video card, 5500 Radeon Pro with 4 gigs of dedicated RAM and 16 gigs of RAM. So basically, still a very decent laptop. So, to make the most use out of it, I decided to install Windows on it. So, and I decided to just do a video as well. But the first thing we need to do is to clear up some space, and to do that, which I've done already, but what I've done is go to the storage settings. You can also go there by pressing on Command and Spacebar, right? And that would show this search bar here, and you can just type whatever you need to access, in this case storage, and it will open this panel here. As you can see here, I already have more than 700 gigs of space because I've gone through it already. But what I've done is basically look at my applications and see what takes up a lot of space, and if I don't use it, I just delete it. Then, more importantly, is go through my documents and delete or move stuff that that takes up a lot of space. So I transfer it to an external drive. Actually, not this one. It's not a solid state, so it's quite slow. So I use one of these guys. This is not. It was not originally a solid state external drive. I had a spare, what do you call it, NVMe drive here. So I bought this enclosure and then put it inside. Anyways, that's the first step. So once you clear up enough space, for me, I need roughly this amount, and then you can go to the next step. And the next step is to get your Windows 10 ISO. You can just Google download Windows 10 ISO, and then when you click this page here, which is actually a Microsoft page site, you can then grab it from here. I'll put a link too, but if the link no longer works because they move stuff around, but you can easily do it, as you can see here. The next thing we need to do then is run bootcamp. So again, we can just press Command and Spacebar to pull up this search, and then we can type bootcamp assistant, launch it, and then we have this. I'll zoom in again. And we can go ahead. So as you can see here, it found our ISO, and then we can just decide how much space we need to allocate to Windows. I think I'd be more comfortable with just under 200, right? We don't need a lot, and explain why later on. But that should be more than enough for us, for the apps I need to install. But yeah, so we can then go ahead and install. Now, this is going to take some time. Okay, so we finally get to this part where we could actually install Windows. That actually took longer than expected, but yeah, since I'm in Canada, we're using UK English, but I'll change to Canada, multilingual standard, I guess. Yeah, there you go. Go next. Product key, you can do that later on. So you go next, or you can always install it later. Then home. Do this. Now we're gonna actually install Windows. That's also gonna take some time, so we'll let it do its own thing. Okay, so we finally finished installing Windows and setting up Windows. logged into my account, and yeah, now we're here. So we can install Boot Camp for Windows, and then we just do that, and yeah. All right, so it finished installing Boot Camp. For the longest time, I wasn't moving, and it was just like flashing. Like, I guess it was installing like various drivers and whatnot. But yeah, if you don't do anything, it will then restart, and like in a few seconds. So, and then we'll see what happens next, and we can go from there. All right, so it restarted and we're in again, and let's just see if there are any updates to do. Check for updates. Okay, so we need to restart to finish the updates. So let's just do that now, and then we'll come back. All right, so everything's up to date after a bunch of restarts, and so if we're happy with Windows 10, then we're done. But let's go check out what do you call this, Boot Camp. So we have this in here. Let's go control panel. Yes. And so what I want to do is set the right tap on the trackpad as the right click. So secondary click. Here, let me zoom in for that. So I go here, and then bottom right corner, apply. For the keyboard, I think that's fine. On the display, we don't have external display. Oh, actually, no, I do have external display. Let me turn on the TV and let's see if it's going to do anything. But you can also change the resolution, because so it detects. You can see my TV in the back there. Let me zoom out for a bit. In the background here. But yeah, obviously the actual resolution of the MacBook is actually quite higher. So you can see there's way more resolution. But this is fine for now. But yeah, what it's gonna do is we want to go back to Mac. You can do it using this, or you can use the whole C, I believe, to do it. But since we're here, let's just restart. Oh yeah, just to test, right click works now, so that's good. Anyways, let's go back to Mac. Wait, so here, restart in Mac. All right, so we're back to Mac OS, and if I zoom in here, we can see that we have a bunch of actually, no, let's click all volumes here, and then yeah, we can see that Boot Camp is here, 193 gigs, and then we have 800 something. Now the problem is that when we go to our Boot Camp volume, we can't write to it, and when you're in Windows, you cannot write to the Mac volume, so you're stuck with all that space for the Mac. And so what I'd like to do is create another volume or partition that they can both share, and since we have like more than 500 gigs of space free, is we're gonna take 500 and have it shared. So we have our shared space like this, and then both Windows and Mac can access it, and then through that we can share files between the two OSs. So to do that, what we need to do is use this utility, and then we can go into the volumes here, like so, and then we can see Boot Camp, and then we have our Mac HD here. So we can create a new one, and then it asks us, do you want to create a volume or a partition? We want a partition, and then the partition needs to be exFAT so that both of the OS can write to it, not just read, and then we can call it that for data. And then we can just give it just under 5. You know what? Let's just give it the full 500. And then apply. So it's gonna confirm it. So we're good. Resizing. Okay, it's gonna stop. Yeah, so it's gonna take some time. You can't do really anything about it while it's doing that. So I mean, since it's a solid state hard drive, it shouldn't take that long, but it's still gonna take some time. All right, so I finally finished resizing our Mac partition and then creating a new one. And so if we look at what do you call this, our volume here. Actually, let's just click on this partitions. You can see our data is there, Mac HD, and then Bootcamp. And then if we look at our folder here, we have that, and then Bootcamp as other locations. So we can just start transferring some of these files over. Let's say I want to transfer movies, even though there's not a lot of it there. You can move it there. But when you drag it over, you see the plus means I'll just copy it. But we want to move. So to do that, I can just press Command, and then it will actually move it over, and then so you don't see it there anymore, right? And then obviously we can do some more here. So music and pictures, for example. Let me move that over. Same thing, drag it over, pressing Command. All right, so I don't have to do all of them, but as you can see, you can keep doing this to free up some space from your Mac drive. And now what we can do is do the same thing on the Windows side. And to do that, we just need to boot into Windows. And there's a couple of ways. You can just look up Startup Disk, right, and then choose Bootcamp, and then it'll ask me to enter password again, and you can do restart. All right, so we're back to Windows. Then now we can do the same thing as in to move some folders over. So we can do that by using Explorer or by pressing Windows and E. But before we do that, we can just go into this computer, and we can see that our partition is there, right? And then we have some full folders in there. So all we can do is actually reuse those, right? So if we go back to our home here, so we can move the pictures, even though we don't have any pictures, but at least when we do, then it can start using that folder, right? So you can go properties and then location. We can say move, and then go on here, do that, and then use the existing pictures folder there, and then click OK, and it will say that you want to move all the files. We don't have files, so it shouldn't take that long, and then you'll do that. So obviously we can do that for the other ones, but it's really easy to do, right? So once you start using this and start putting pictures into your pictures folder, it would actually not go to the C drive, which is not very big. This one here, you'll actually go to that folder, right? So, and that's what we want. And then when we have it here, as you can see, the movies folder and the music folder was copied over from the Mac, and we can access the files from the Mac. And then when we're on Mac OS, we can access the files from Windows. So we can totally share this folder while not using up too much space in our C drive, and likewise with the Mac OS partition or volume. Now, so with that aside, we're fully set up to Windows 10, but really what we want to do is update to Windows 11, and really we can't. So we go here, we can't, right? So there's no way to do it. And so the way to do that is there's actually a tool that you can use. All right, so let's go online then and grab the Windows update. So we can just look for Windows 11 update bat. Bat is short for batch, as in batch script files. But I'll put a link anyways, and this is basically what we want. And it's a code repository, but we actually need to go to code. For some reason it sent us to the discussion, and then when you see the code here, I mean, you can clone it or download the repo, but all we need is just the zip file of it, and it's not very big. So because it doesn't actually have the Windows 11 installer, you will download it, right? So after it downloads, you can just right click it, extract all. Yeah, let's just put it there, and then it open our folder within another folder of itself. But yeah, let's go inside, and then what we want is this media creation tool, the Windows batch file, and then we can just right click it and then run as administrator, because obviously it'll install stuff, right? And then it'll prompt us yes. So let me zoom out. So you get this blue window, right? And let me just move it over to the center. And so we need to figure out what we need to do, and then it'll pop up this list of things you want you can install. All these ones are Windows 10 all the way to 22H2, but what we want to install is the latest Windows 11 23H2. So we click on that, and then the easiest thing to do is just use auto upgrade, and it will just do everything for us. And this is going to take some time because it's going to download stuff and then install it, but for the most part it's pretty much hands off, which is pretty nice, and that's why I like using this tool. I've used it before on my MacBook Pro 2015, and actually I will show that to you on a different video, but basically I've used it before and I know it works, and as you can see it's doing a bunch of stuff on its own. I'm not even touching the keyboard. It'll download stuff, put the ISO file somewhere, but more importantly it will disable the check that's preventing us to actually install Windows 11. Yeah, and so now it's downloading it, and then it will install it, and that's going to take some time, so we'll just let it do its own thing for a while. All right, so I just signed in, and now it's going to take a few more minutes, but I didn't really touch anything or have to do anything else. Install, update, and when I had to sign in, it's doing this. So yeah, we'll let it do its thing, and then it should be pretty much done after that. All right, so we're finally done, and it took a really long time, but we're here. And actually, while I was installing Windows 11, I installed some other stuff here. But anyways, as you can see, we are in Windows 11. And then we still have Bootcamp, cool. And actually, I really wanted to see this, and it seems like our touch bar is also working. I didn't have to install anything extra. It just did it itself, and as you can see here, it's functional. So we can change the brightness of the screen. I can change the brightness of the keys. It's off now, and then it turns on. Then obviously the volume here, as you can see, when I press it, it pops up over there. Yeah, and then it go mute. So yeah, seems like everything's working fine. yeah, so that's pretty nice. I'm quite happy. I mean, obviously it took a long time, but it's just the way it is when you're installing stuff, downloading things, and all that stuff. So, and I just want to show this. As you can see here, it says Windows 11. Cool. And when we look at our devices and drives here, we have our C drive, and then I installed some stuff, so kind of taking up space. But anyways, more importantly, our that partition is still there. I mean, it should be, right? But yeah. And if you look at, what was it? One of the files that we transferred or folders was videos. As you can see, it's still pointing to our location in the dot folder, which is being shared by what do you call this, Mac. And you can even see that the iMovie theater folder or package or whatever from Mac is there. So yeah, we're definitely sharing this folder. So that's pretty neat. I mean, for me, I like doing it this way, but some of you may want to keep it separated. But I'm the one using the computer, so I want to be able to access the same files and share the same drive. But anyways, yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what else to do. I mean, we've done a lot already. Yeah. If you stuck around, great. Thank you. And I do hope that you find this helpful and interesting. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.